They say some objects were never meant to be touched, never meant to see the light of day. In the village of Uru, one such object returned, a golden calabash that drinks blood and never stops. What happened next? Sit close, but beware, for this story is not just told, it is lived. And before we begin, do subscribe to this channel for more godly and wise storytelling that stirs both the soul and the spirit. The night was unlike any other, calm and peaceful. The forest of Uru was usually alive with the chatter of crickets, the croaking of frogs, the distant howl of hyenas. But on this night, silence ruled. It was a kind of silence that suffocated. The clouds rolled across the moon, hiding its light. Darkness felt so heavy that even the torch flames in the village seemed weak, fighting to stay alive. The women of Oru knew what silence meant. They pressed their wrinkled hands against their mouths and whispered, "The spirits walk tonight." Oba was only 12. His laughter was the kind that make elders smile and even soften even the harshest warriors. That evening, he had been playing by the river with a carved wooden toy his father had made for him. "Oba, come home before the moon rises," his mother called. But the boy was stubborn. He wanted to see if the fireflies would come out to dance above the water. He wanted to chase them. He wanted to catch the golden glow in his hands. The villagers saw. They heard his laughter echo into the trees. Then silence. By the time his mother ran back to the riverbank, the boy was gone. A voice cracked the night. "Oba, my son, where are you?" The entire village gathered, men with torches and machetes, women crying, children holding on to their mothers. They spread out into the forest, calling his name, "Oba, Oba." At first, they found nothing, but then the hunters noticed footprints, small, bare ones, leading deeper into the trees. "Here!" shouted Adu, one of the strongest hunters. But beside the footprints were other marks, strange, dragging lines in the mud, as though something heavy, something unnatural, had been pulled along. The men followed the trail until they reached the river. There, in the shallow mud, at the edge of the water, lay something that should not have been there. A calabash. It was no ordinary calabash. It shone faintly, even under the dark sky. Its surface was golden, as though carved from the sun itself. But this was no work of man. The glow was unnatural. Around its roundy belly were carvings of snakes, skulls, and human eyes. The eyes were the worst part. They looked alive as the torchlight flickered. It seemed the eyes on the calabash blinked. The hunters recoiled. One muttered, "Ogun, save us." But Adu stepped forward, his voice mocking. "Are we children, afraid of gods? It is just wood and paint." "Do not touch it," said Eda Ogun sharply, his voice shaking. "Do not even breathe too close. This is a golden calabash. It should have remained buried." But Adu, proud and foolish, reached out anyway. The moment his hand brushed the surface, the earth groaned. The torches flickered as if about to die. A wind rushed through the village, through the trees, though no storm was near. And then came the scream. Not Adu's scream. No, this was deeper, older. A scream that came from the water itself. A sound like 100 souls crying at once. The hunters dropped their weapons, covering their ears, and then they saw it. Blood, thick black red blood, poured out of the calabash, spilling into the river, spreading across the water like ink. The hunters stumbled back. One shouted, "Look, look!" Floating face up in the river was Oba, his eyes wide open, his mouth frozen in terror. The mother's wail tore the night apart. Oba was dead. By morning, Adu was found dead, his skin blistered, cracked like burnt yam, his body twisted, his mouth stretched open in a silent scream. The villagers whispered, the curse has returned." Edaogun gathered the people in the square. His voice trembled as he spoke. This calabash was hidden generations ago. It was never meant to return. Once it drinks blood, it must drink again and again until it is satisfied. But it is never satisfied. The villagers begged the chief, "Destroy it, burn it, crush it." But Ogun shook his head slowly. No blade can cut it. No fire can consume it. The last time men tried, the earth swallowed the entire village. A shiver ran through the crowd. The priestess, Iyalode, stepped forward. Her eyes were painted with white chalk, her staff clutched tightly. The calabash has awakened. It has chosen this village, and it will feed. That night, the calabash was placed in the village square. Its glow hit the faces of the terrified villagers. Iyalode raised her staff. "O spirits of the water, O curse of the golden god, tell us, who shall you take?" The calabash began to hum, low and deep like the growl of something alive. Its carvings glowed red. The eyes of its surface blinked one by one until they all stared in the same direction, at Oba's sister. The little girl's body stiffened. Her mother screamed and rushed to grab her, but it was too late. The girl collapsed, lifeless. Her eyes rolled back. The calabash glowed brighter. It had fed again. When the crowd dispersed, Edaogun whispered to the priestess, "We cannot survive this. It will kill us all." The priestess' eye narrowed. There is only one way. The curse must have a keeper. Someone to carry it, to feed it, to keep its hunger away from the rest of the village. "And who will volunteer for such a death?" Ogun asked bitterly. The priestess' voice was low. "No one volunteers. The calabash chooses." That night, Oba's mother sat by the river, rocking back and forth, whispering to herself, "Why, my children? Why then? Take me instead." The river was silent until the wind shifted, and then a voice, soft, slithering, spoke from the water, because blood calls to blood. You are bound to the Calabash. She froze, trembling. The dark water rippled. Though no stone had been thrown, she leaned closer and saw her reflection. It was her face, but twisted. The eyes hollow, the skin pale, the mouth dripping with blood. She screamed. The villagers thought the curse would stop with 2 deaths, but by dawn, 3 more were gone, their bodies pale, drained, lifeless. The calabash still glowed, restless, as if waiting. The question was no longer if it would take more. The question was, who would be next?